Hey guys, Audrey and Rebecca here from Inbox Academy. Today we're going to be talking about list growth, which is such an important topic because I think obviously as email marketers, we know the value of email, but sometimes we forget that there's that step before it where you have to actually get people onto your list to be able to sell to them, right? And engage them and, create those relationships that we love to talk about with email. And this is a question that we get a lot from students inside Inbox Academy as well that, maybe their clients are really looking for certain revenue numbers and stuff to come back from their email, but they're not getting those and they're just trying so hard to get those engagement numbers up. But sometimes the engagement is already there. You just don't have enough people on that list. So, we're going to talk today about how to build that list, how to grow those list numbers. And that's something that, you can do for your own business and also something that you can offer as a service to clients if you want to. So, yeah, let's dive in.
Yeah. So the first thing we want to talk about is this is what you're going to hear probably number one across the board whenever you hear someone talking about growing your email list. And this is going to be creating an irresistible freebie. Now, this has so many different names. You can hear it as like a freebie, an opt in, a lead magnet. There's a lot of different names for it. But basically, what it is you're creating something of value that you're giving or something you're asking them to engage in exchange for their email address. And this obviously is going to help you grow the email list. So, yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. And this is where it's fun. It can get creative. I personally for my freelancing business on my website when I first started, I had an SEO freebie like the 10, top ways to rank higher on SEO. And so I was giving them kind of like a PDF, a little checklist, something they could look at in exchange for their email address. Audrey, what kind of opt ins or lead magnets have you helped or you've seen with some of your clients?
Yeah, I think a really, really common one, obviously, that you'll see across the e-commerce world is coupon codes, right? It'll be like 10% off your first purchase, or one that like has worked really well for one of my clients actually is $15 off your first purchase of $100 or more. They have a little bit higher price product, so it makes sense for them that most people are going to be spending close to that amount
Mhm.
anyway. So it's like just pushing the value up a little bit on those carts and stuff. So that's a really good one. And I do think that like the coupon codes can get a little bit boring. So you have to play around with it and see, what different ways you can come up with some different ideas. And so that you can, search Google and find a million ideas. But I think ones that work really, really well are quizzes are always really exciting for people. And also there's like the spin the wheel one for coupon codes. And that's just, a software that you can sign up for and get it integrated into your email system and it'll kind of do that for you. So that's a good one.
I actually have set a few of those up for some of my clients, and it makes it fun because it's not just like one coupon, like 15% off, 10% off. It's fun. It's like, oh, free shipping, or you see higher coupons. So it's just a way to get them a little bit more excited to put in their email address. So I love the spin the wheel. I see great results all around with that one. Another one I was thinking was an ebook. So I've done some ebooks for different people and some recipe ebooks, which are fun to do. Like we'll have seasonal recipes, spring recipes, winter, Christmas cookies, things like that. And that will be the giveaway in exchange for the email address as well.
Yeah, and I think too, don't ever underestimate the power of just, the value of your email list, whether you're giving away, really, really high-end advice or sometimes people are, sending meditations, guided meditations, like things like that. Those can be a freebie, but also sometimes you can just, really well-written copy in an opt-in can persuade people that they really want whatever is regularly being sent out on that email list. So, sometimes people write in their opt in just, sign up for our email list here. Well, why would somebody just want more emails, right? You've got to
Mhm.
talk about what's in those emails that has value to your subscriber. For, some people like an influencer or something, it can be, see behind the scenes, get my journal entries and stuff that I don't talk about publicly on social media or things like that can be really tempting as long as that opt-in is well written.
Yeah, get them excited for what's coming, for sure. Another thing I wanted to point out was sometimes if you're growing an email list for a client, they'll ask you as their email marketer, especially if you're filling that role, full service, they're going to say, I want to grow my email list, or can you help me with ideas? There's times that I give ideas to my client. I list out, well, let's create an ebook. Let's do the spin the wheel app on your website, like give them ideas. And those ideas are for them to implement, right? But sometimes they ask me to take care of those things. Like, could you download the app for the spin the wheel app? And sometimes it can feel like it falls a little bit out of an email marketer's job. So you really have to decide if you're comfortable. Like, it's okay to say, no, I deal with all the emails. And once you've brought those people in, then I take care of them. Or if you're up for learning something new and you're willing to charge them a little extra and get some value for your services, that is something that you could take on if it seemed fun for you. And I do a lot of those. I like to create and design different things. So just keep that in mind. And if it's for your own email list, then obviously you're going to have to do it either way. You're going to have to get it out there and figure out how to get those subscribers. So yeah, just wanted to put that little tidbit in there.
Yeah, and I'm kind of on that opposite track. I tend to offer that strategy advice, but I tend to usually not be the one creating that opt-in for my clients. So you can be successful either way. It's just kind
Yeah.
of personal preference. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about then what to do with that lead magnet, right? So, first off, you just kind of want to like plaster it everywhere and you want to make sure that it's in all of your key places, right? So, you're probably used to seeing opt in opportunities as a pop up. But one of the most important things that people don't think about is people tend to close pop-ups pretty quickly. Sometimes they don't even read them, sometimes they use pop-up blockers. So you want to make sure that that opt-in opportunity is also on your website embedded in a form that's going to show up even when the pop-up is gone. So a lot of people like to put that in the footer, but if you can, it's nice to have that in a more central location. But it is nice to put in the footer as well because then it's going to populate across like all pages on your website, right? So that's a really easy way to make sure that it's showing up in front of your customers on a regular basis on your website. So, in addition to being in the footer, that can be a great CTA on a blog sometimes, is like, if you want to dig deeper, go ahead and download the guide here, opt in, opportunity. Another place you got to make sure you put it is in all of your bios, right? Instagram bio, Facebook bio, YouTube bio, LinkedIn, like put it everywhere so that anywhere that people come across you, they're also coming across that lead magnet, that freebie, and have an opportunity to jump on your email list.
Yep. And then once you've got that link everywhere, right? Now you got to promote the crap out of it. You got to like go completely in. You got to mention it in your blog posts. You got to talk about it in your YouTube videos, your social media posts, especially stories, right? We know that stories are what people scroll right now. And sometimes people are not scrolling down and looking at reels, they're scrolling across and looking at stories. So promoting it regularly in your stories with a direct link for them to grab it. Yeah, all of that stuff is just super important. Get it out there because otherwise, how are they going to know what you have to offer? If it's all set up, it's all pretty on your website, it's all created, and you've done some beautiful design with it, and you've got a great download link, but like people have to know it's there, so you have to get it out there. And you would also say
Yeah.
LinkedIn too because you're big on LinkedIn, so LinkedIn is super great for promoting that stuff.
Yeah, wherever you are showing up, I think it's important to remember that yes, you put those things in the bio so that somebody might stumble across it, but not everybody's going to go look at your bio, even when you're telling them link in bio, right? That's such a common phrase these days, but how many people actually click over to the bio? So you really want to be like regular posting about the lead magnet, letting people know that it's there. I think people think they're getting annoying and repetitive with it. there are new people coming into your online sphere all the time, and they don't know about that freebie unless you're telling them. So, like, seriously, feel annoying, feel awkward about it, but just keep getting it out there. And then making that link as easy to click as possible. So, like Rebecca said, in the
Mhm.
stories of Instagram, you can actually have a clickable link compared to in a post where you have to say link in bio. And also, like LinkedIn posts, right? You can't have a link in it, but in the comments you can. So always making sure that you put that comment, here's the link, quickly so that they don't have to go to your bio. So it is important to have it in the bio for the people that do, but you want to try to make it as easy as possible to get to that opt-in opportunity.
Yeah. And the same for Facebook too. With LinkedIn, you can use the comment to put the link, use that comment, put in the link. We're really in like a time of marketing where, and everybody says this, everybody knows it, but I'm just going to reiterate, like, the less steps that they have to take to do something, the more likely they're going to do it, right? Even just the link in bio, like you said, it's like if you can put something like a story in front of them where they can literally just click and go to that link, your chances of grabbing their email is so much better. So just putting it in all of those places, and making sure that they have access to it is super important.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of the standard advice you're gonna hear, right? For how to grow an email list. You gotta get your freebie, you gotta put it in front of lots of people. But now we wanna talk about some, like, less common but highly rewarding avenues to market your freebie. And some of these have, like, a little bit more effort that need to go into them, but the reward truly can be really great. So one of those is paid ads. And I know a lot of people are scared of these, and they don't wanna send money down the drain and stuff like that, but you can set up paid ads for, $1 a day on
Mm,
Facebook or Meta and set that up so, $30 a month and you're slowly growing that list and adding to that list. So if you have pretty good conversions once they get on your list, that can actually be a good avenue to grow your email list.
yeah, absolutely.
So another one is guest blogging. So, if you know that your audience is often going to a certain blog for advice, right? A common one in the copywriter world is going to be like Copy Hackers blog. If you
Mhm,
can offer a guest blog to that audience, you're getting in front of your warmest leads, people who are going to be really, really interested in exactly what you're talking about. And that can be a really great opportunity to, have your sign off offer your freebie as well. And then another kind of similar but different how you go about it is getting featured in a publication. So, for instance, I used to ghostwrite for the founder of one of the companies that I was working for, and I would write thought pieces that are going to go in Forbes online publication, and all of that is leading back to the website, back to that, maybe we're not linking directly to the lead magnet in there, but you are linking back to the company, getting, bringing in leads that can
mhm.
get onto that email list. And those publications get, massive numbers of views, and they are then, searchable on a high authority website that continues to exist for a long time. And speaking of that longevity, guesting on podcasts. So that's something that I recommend to a lot of my clients because it's kind of an easy ask. A lot of podcasts are constantly looking for new guests, and a lot of founders and CEOs do this a lot. So it's something that's kind of easy for them to jump on for an hour and record a podcast. And then you have somebody else that's promoting you and your brand. And hopefully that podcast host doesn't mind. I always ask, can we bring up my lead magnet? Can we link it in the podcast description? And that kind of exposure can go a long way. Had guested on a podcast over a year ago, and I'm still getting leads onto my email list from that podcast. So I've seen this work great for founders too, as well, and for many of my clients.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then the final one we had listed was offering your freebie to other people in your network who have a similar audience. I think that we feel like it's a selfish ask to because you're trying to get people on your email list, but really, if you're offering something that's truly valuable to somebody's audience, that's a whole piece of content. Like, we're all on this content mill trying to come up with stuff to send to our audience every day, right? And if you can offer somebody, hey, I have this, guide that I think would be really valuable to your audience. Would you want to send it out to them? A lot of people will say yes, and especially your friends and acquaintances in your network. They're excited to share that with their audience. They're excited to do that for you. So I think that can go a long way that people don't really think about. And, you've got other people with lists of thousands of potential leads, and you can kind of offer to share resources across those lists, and you can get a lot of people onto a list that way.
Yeah, and I would say don't limit yourself on that with just to their email list either, right? Like you could create something if they have a huge social media following, you could create something with a link that you could ask them if they could promote on their stories, or if they want to collaborate in a way where they'd want to promote it on their stories or as a post or something, and it would still link back to collecting the emails for you. So there's just so many different creative ways you can start making things for other people's audiences and grabbing emails and growing your list and helping them as well, whether it's the algorithm or, whatever. So, yeah, there's a lot of different avenues you can take that down. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I guess that's it. Did you have any last things to add, Audrey, for growing your email list?
No, that's all the points I had.
Yeah, I think we pretty much hit on everything. The biggest thing is that freebie. So if you have any questions about anything that we've discussed in this video, feel free to drop it in the comments and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if you want to see more content like this, just hit subscribe and grab our free resource in our bio. Bye, guys.
Yay. Bye.